Let's say for whatever reason you're the first human to ever make alien contact. Yes, I know, pretty unlikely, probably isn't going to be you, that's a given, but it would be a great idea for us to spare a few minutes and think about it. Why? Well, for one, most historians and scientists agree that this would be the most important moment in all of human history. More important than this.
It's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
In fact, it's generally accepted that in generations to come, all of history would be divided into pre-contact and post-contact eras, instead of the BC and AD distinctions we use now. So to put it one way, you're going to be the most important person in history. Think bigger than Jesus. Yeah, I know, a little hard to believe, but the day you make contact will live on through all cultures and civilizations for as long as the human race exists. It will be the most defining moment for all of our entire species. But try not to think about that. You might get nervous and screw things up. You'll probably screw things up. Just keep a few points in your head and try to keep cool. First things first, hold the still. The aliens will be quite used to things flailing like crazy and trying to get away. They'll most likely have picked up a fish or a bird and watched it flap like an idiot until it died. Don't do that. They know that this is what non-self-aware organisms do. Holding still is the first thing you need to do to show them that we're worth our weight in crap. Also, some basic statistics will tell you why you don't need to panic. Between the insane rate at which technology advances and the massive amount of time a species must exist to travel through interstellar space, the odds are that we will be technologically within 5,000 years of aliens are roughly absolutely zero. Think about it this way, it won't be lasers versus machine guns, it'll be more like nuclear weapons versus sponges. The fact that you're still alive will mean that they are going to allow us to exist. Fighting them Matrix style is just not going to happen. Relax and make this count. Don't panic. When you see them, they're going to look weird. Real weird. If they have physical bodies at all, they'll likely won't look anything like that has ever evolved on Earth. Or the garbage you've seen on alien movies. Hold still, be deliberate, and react cautiously. Next up, finding a medium to communicate through. They won't speak your language and won't be able to mess with your thoughts. They might not communicate through sounds and may not even hear the frequencies we talk through. Human language with its fickle syntax won't do. Feel free to talk, but know that this will just give the aliens a general feel for what we sound like. You won't be able to convey ideas verbally at first. If the aliens seem to respond to visible light, writing things down is your best bet. You can tell whether they respond to visible light by checking out their tech. Is it colored in any way? Is it shiny, polished, and decorated with text of some kind? If so, great. That will make things easy. If not, they will most likely respond to other types of radiation. That's a little tougher. You'll need to use rocks or other three-dimensional objects to communicate. You should probably bring your own pen. If they provide any kind of writing mechanism, it won't likely be the familiar cylinder that fits so nicely into our opposable digits. Algorithms. Do you speak it? So, how can you sum up the last 10,000 years of scientific discovery in a completely universal way? Easy. Math. The aliens won't know who Pythagoras was, but they'll sure as know what his theorem is. The right triangle will show the alien visitors without any doubt that humans are scientific-minded. Draw a right triangle, I bet that'll get quite the reaction out of them. Label the sides as such, they'll probably love that. Forget your pen, or do the aliens only respond to gamma radiation? Well then, you'll need to make do. Got a dollar bill and some coinage? Time to get creative. Fold up the bill as shown on the left to make a right triangle. Arrange your coins as shown in the last step to prove your mastery of the basics of geometry. Since the aliens will, let's face it, probably be major math nerds, they may have things they want to show you. You probably will be hopelessly out of your league. Don't feel bad, so probably would have Einstein. You might want to let the aliens know that we feel most comfortable in the base 10 math. If you can write or make marks in the sand, something like this might suffice. Assuming a mastery of the high school mathematics, the extraterrestrials will now understand that we're a base 10 kind of species, and with any luck they can begin using our familiar numerical system to talk logic. They might pose questions to you, ranging from describing pi, to predicting prime numbers, to describing lambda calculus. If you don't know, immediately repeat some kind of obvious, "I don't know" kind of gesture, so they can tell when you're in way over your head. I would highly suggest, though, that you refamiliarize yourself with basic geometry and algebra now, so you don't make Earth look dumb by not knowing how to find the diameter of a friggin' circle. If you're the first person they abduct, that is. Keep this stuff in mind. They won't know who Einstein was, but they'll know about relativity. They won't call it Newton's law, but they'll know about the conservation of energy. They won't know Mona Lisa, but they'll know hydrogen was 1 proton. They won't know any of our religions, but they'll know pi is irrational. They won't know the name of Darwin, but they'll be familiar with natural selection. They'll also be familiar with binary, but it won't be zeros and ones. If they send you a message with only 2 characters repeating, that's binary. It does not matter which character is our 0 and which is for 1. A good universal constant to bring up will be the speed of light. But keep in mind that they won't know what meter or a second is. They'll know mathematical operators, but they won't know plus or minus or equals, etc. You'll need to do a few sample math problems for them to catch on. Great job so far. Now for the endgame. At this point, the aliens will know we're somewhat intelligent, but let's face it, if you spent a few hours on some kind of alien craft and you want to get home and probably take a shower, wrapping this up will most likely involve 2 things: expressing our desire to learn about them and acting as their spokesperson for the rest of the world. Draw something similar to what's on the left here. It'll make the visitors know that we understand astronomy. Make an orbit around the 3rd dot from the sun. That way they'll know we understand our place. That's really, really important. Side note, make an orbit oval, not a circle, and don't use arrows to point to things. That probably isn't intuitive to aliens as it is to us. Conveying that we have discovered our place in the universe is absolutely key. This will show aliens that we're curious, scientific, and willing to learn more about the cosmos. And finally, show some damned humility. To conclude, you're going to need to let the aliens know we've unearthed our own evolutionary history. Put your personal feelings aside here. Do not look the alien race in the eyes? Whatever. And tell them that the universe was created for us. A good number of scientists believe that this might be the ultimate cosmic IQ test, the bar by which all alien races measure self-awareness. Do you personally believe we were crafted by a creator? Well, suck it up for 10 minutes and draw something like above, showing an increase in complexity resulting in a human being. Don't fail the cosmic citizenship test for an entire species, okay? Draw something like this and let them know we want to meet them. Alright, time to get out of there. Let's get you back home and so you can take your place in history. The hardest part is over now. Now it's time to get back to civilization. Take that shower and become the most famous human to ever live. You'll probably be the sole spokesperson for the alien race, so keep this stuff in mind. Get dropped off in a major city. If you're able, try to get the extraterrestrials to drop you off in the nearest major city. This will be tough since they won't know what a mile is, what a north or south are, or latitude and longitude. Pointing with your hands is also not your friend here. Try drawing out the local landscape or coastline as literally as possible. Tall buildings should be made obvious, they should pick up on this. Involve the local news. Don't hold out until you talk to the president or something dumb like that. There are probably plenty of interested parties, political, military, intelligence. Make sure every reporter gets your picture, every newspaper knows that the visitors are peaceful, and every media outlet knows you as a normal person who got caught up in an extraordinary experience.
We're going to survive. Today, we celebrate our Independence Day.
Seriously? No pop culture references. If you get dropped off in front of a crowd of onlookers, don't make your first word something like, "They're nothing like E.T." Spielberg doesn't deserve that. Keep your first immortal words something simple. They're peaceful. We've made contact. You know, something that'll go on a plaque. If you're dropped off in a foreign country, doesn't matter. Someone will write down what you said. Don't start grunting or attempt to speak the bit of French you learned in freshman year. You'll probably be killed. Unfortunate, you'll be the most important human on Earth, and no matter what you do, you'll be extremely controversial. There are simply too many subversive parties who will want you dead for whatever reason, and they'll most likely succeed eventually. There isn't much you can do about this one. Sorry.
I'm all right. I'm fine. I'm fine. Get down.
Reproduce as much as possible. Have a bunch of descendants. If the aliens are big into progeny, they might be designated some kind of ruling race in the future. Descendants of your name. It has a good ring to it, don't you think? Plus it keeps your genes alive for a really, really long time. And that's what it's all about.
Live long and prosper.
And that's it, my friends. Hopefully you find this information helpful if you ever find yourself in this situation. Oh, and lastly, good luck and don't f this up for us.